Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Marco, and I'm here with Jeremy from the Cardano Foundation. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, Marco. Great to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you on. And welcome to the cNFTcon for 2021. And why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure, but first, congratulations on this great event that you've put on, and that's been fully supported by the community. It's wonderful to see these type of events happening, and it's an honor for me to be here. So I am the head of partnerships and executive officer at Cardano Foundation. Mainly, I look after the strategic operations and partnerships to help grow the ecosystem. A lot of this is relating to the commercially critical infrastructure list for Cardano and enterprise partnerships. So for companies that want to have an enterprise grade application, such as NFTs, they usually talk to us at the foundation for general guidance on applications, on types of standards for use of assets, and general direction on how do I use Cardano.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I just want to give a shout out to the rest of the team that helped put this event together. Nick from Sushi Bites, Trevor and Alyssa from Digital Mortal and Never Engine, Tyler with Spaces. All of them came together and helped me organize this. So I want to give them a shout out as well. And you got to do the clap, the Rex clap from the news
There
update.
we go.
So basically, like if I'm a company, right, and I want to, like, say about publishing, and I'm like, I want to start getting into NFTs. I could reach out to you and say, hey, look, this is what we do. We'd like to partner up, or we just like some guidance and some advice and like a map, right, to do work on NFTs or anything on the Cardano blockchain, right? Then you would take over, right? Like you would be that bridge.
That's right. I would be that bridge, and I would help guide them on kind of the Cardano standard. So, NFTs exist and on every blockchain or on most blockchains, but they don't exist equally. And there are many, different ways to approach NFT creation on Cardano and also the Cardano value chain, which then I would help guide like this publisher to see like, well, how do they want to be integrated into the ecosystem? Are you looking to do it fully yourself? Are you looking to have community partners, or do you want to have more of an enterprise partnership to launch your application? These are all, it's a holistic approach to these type of conversations.
And so if I'm new to Cardano, I'm new to NFTs, and I'm watching this, right? Could you tell me a little bit about what an NFT is?
Sure. So an NFT is, it's defined as a non-fungible token, which is basically an asset that is created on a blockchain. That's kind of the very base definition to understand for what an NFT is versus, say, like a utility token or cryptocurrency like ADA.
And so an asset is something like a value, right? It's something like a photograph, like a photograph, some kind of information of some kind can be an asset, right?
Right. You can have a record of data that's wrapped onto a token. So that data can be multimedia files, be it images or be it music or video, and then additional text or web links to describe what this asset is.
Yeah, that's great. And so that explains why, like early on in the early stages, like when with Cardano this year, for example, when native tokens came out, we saw an influx of artwork, pictures, profiles, media, GIFs, and stuff is the first assets being minted on Cardano, because they didn't require much, because of the technology you guys did with native tokens, where like on Ethereum, they actually had to have a smart contract in order to wrap those assets, right?
They did. And that's a very good distinction here, is that there's two very big differences for Cardano as a blockchain. Number one is the the first and maybe one of the few multi-asset ledgers that exist. So that means we have a unified asset creation process. So when you're creating an asset on Cardano, it actually shares many of the same security guarantees that the ADA cryptocurrency has. Mm-hmm. So instead of like having to use customized code to launch and manage an asset on a blockchain, we use the same type of ledger rules that we do for the ADA cryptocurrency that we do for any other asset. So in layman's terms, it means that you don't need to worry about, is my asset that I'm creating, is it secure? Is it going to be hacked? You can just focus purely on the application side of what type of asset it is that you want to create. And as a multi-asset, what that means is that you're able in one wallet and in one transaction, you can send multiple assets at a time. Mm-hmm. So you can send like 5 assets in a transaction, and you can hold multiple assets in a wallet very easily and view all information on the Cardano blockchain for any asset that's been created.
And that's largely due to the extended UTXO system, right?
Yes. It's due to that, which I kind of basically, as a side point, I would explain this in some ways like a library. Mm-hmm. So you walk into the Cardano library and you see every single asset that lives on the blockchain, and you can see that and view all details that is minted on the blockchain. Versus what's in your wallet, which is your ownership. So actually, I think a good point here is to describe like, why would you want to create an asset on a blockchain, and how is that different from just having a image or a song, right?
Well, it's interesting, because I had this conversation with somebody who was helping me put up the shelves just yesterday. And I was trying to explain NFTs and, the whole space buds thing and how crazy it was that one sold for $1.2 million. And he's like, but it's just a JPEG, right? And he goes, can't anybody just have a copy of that? Like, what is it? And I explained that because of how policy IDs and asset IDs work that are tied to the native token, when you mint them and everything like that, that it proves scarcity. Right, that this is the original, this is the genesis, this is the one, right? Nobody else can have this, right? And then when I transfer it and move it from my wallet to the person who buys its wallet, it moves with them like a physical item, right? It doesn't leave a copy in my wallet and then make a copy in his wallet, right? Like the mm-hmm. whole asset itself moves from one person ownership to another person's ownership. And it kind of at that point when it made him realize that, right? It's not like a Louis Vuitton bag where you could make copies and can't really tell if it's real or fake without going to an expert. Anybody can go onto a blockchain if they know the original minting ID or policy ID and verify that, hey, yeah, this is the legit one.
Right. And authenticity. Right. Authenticity and secure verification of being a unique and original asset which you have ownership of. Mm-hmm. And I think you can also look at this in just terms of to where are we today as a society, and how has our culture changed and moving into digital economies. So a lot of things are digital today that we currently consume. This conference is digital.
Correct.
Most of our video content is digital, or we're streaming with computers. So what's the next step in evolution for the growth of digital economies? Like how do you prove that currencies are real currencies? And how do you prove that an asset is a real asset? So the foundation for this technology is public blockchain infrastructure.
Right. Yeah. As long as you have the tools to verify, right? It's like a counterfeit $100 bill, right? If you've got the pin, but then there's people who find ways to around the pin, right? Well, it's not. I don't. As far as I know, it's not possible to replicate a policy ID in any way.
It is
Once
not.
it's locked, once its policy ID is locked, it can't be changed. It's forever recorded, and so it makes that uh, very, very powerful in terms of proving scarcity.
That's right.
And what gives something value is, a lot of the times, is scarcity. I mean, even the CNFT legacy pass that we created, right after it sold out, people were minting fake ones, and I had to go,
Mm-hmm.
right away. I had to go. I was watching Pool PM, and we found one that got minted. Somebody sent it to us, and what they had done is they had actually minted the policy ID as a part of the metadata. So it looked like the policy ID was below the pass, and people didn't know how. If you didn't know how to look for it up in the top corner on Pool PM, right? They were thinking, oh, okay, here's the policy ID, right? And so people are tricky. Anytime you come up with a security system, people are going to try to find a way to scam people and stuff. But you just got to know what you're looking for. And
That's right.
it brings me to another conversation. We talk about the digital age. I've bought a few houses over the years, and I'm looking to remodel them. And one of the problems I have, because these are 20-year-old houses, is finding the original architecture plans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the all of the stuff from the builders, what they used to build it, all that kind of stuff. And I keep asking myself, wouldn't it be amazing if I could just go to the blockchain, go to Cardano, and have access to pull up the architectural plans for my house, the supplies list for my house, and be able to, oh, okay, here's a copy of it, and I don't even have to do anything. It's just there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's in that library you spoke of, right?
Right.
Those are the kind of things that will be possible or are possible, with Cardano, and just to show the creativity of what's possible. Within the first couple months, we had people. One of the hardest things with native tokens too is the size of the metadata that you can store in a transaction, so that it doesn't cause bloat and that kind of stuff. But there was people like Egon who wrote entire programs inside the metadata and created Cardano or Stellarhood, right?
Yeah.
And with Stellarhood, you actually had like this, like solar system that you could enter and kind of guide yourself around and move around, and it became almost like a 3D model of that solar system. And it
Mm-hmm.
was all on chain. There was no block frost link. There was no uh, any other data. It was stored entirely in the metadata, and he had to like take all of this programming and like word for word and like scale it all the way down so it just all fit into the metadata and ran the entire program. I think it was an iframe or something, or an A frame or something like that. I can't remember what he used, but that just goes to show like the innovation that's possible by just giving people the tools, right? Like
Yes.
there's nobody gave him permission to mint that. Nobody gave him permission to do that. He took the tools that were created by IOHK and the Cardano Foundation and used them to create that, right? And then many other
Yeah.
programs based off of that, like the Cardano trees, for example, where he created those like living trees inside of a NFT, right? Like it's just the tree has weather patterns, it has day night cycles. I think like it
Mhm.
grows leaves, it just and all of that is on chain, right?
Right. Fully on chain. There
Fully
is
on
no
chain.
image.
Yeah,
The
it's all
record.
yeah, and it's insane the kind of things that people are doing with just the tools that were provided, right, with the chain itself. There's no smart contract, no anything, right? Just the native token itself.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes more into some of the unique advantages that Cardano has in terms of flexibility. Uh, you don't want to be limited to just a specific smart contract and that specific standard for like
Mhm.
what is the asset. So on Cardano, when you're creating an NFT, you're doing what's called a minting transaction. So you're issuing out a transaction, and inside that transaction, you are stating that you're creating your a new asset, so you get a new token, and then you have your metadata space, which describes what this asset is.
Mhm.
And uh, that type of then metadata can easily be shared. It can be accessed and displayed within a wallet or within an explorer without the need for a very specific standard. So while standards are great in terms of building out adoption, understanding, okay, is this a what type of NFT are we looking at here? Is it an art NFT? Is it a physical good NFT? Uh, that's great for having a standard, but at the same time, for Egan and Stellar Hood, where there is no standard for fully on-chain assets, you don't have those limitations by standards only. So you have the flexibility because standards are not created and given. Standards are developed due due to economic use by people like himself, to where we very well one day may have an on-chain asset standard for metadata,
Mhm.
but we don't today. And I think this is something that is really important to think about, is that you are able to be more creative to figure out how do you deliver different solutions to different problems.
Well, it's almost like the Wild West, right? People are moving out west. They're setting up. They're kind of setting up their territory, right? They're creating like their own little towns. They're creating things, and eventually those areas and those things need structure. Well, and become like city rules and city bylaws. Eventually, in order to replicate and to connect with other things, right?
Hmm.
The whole point of standards is that if I buy something that it works here, it works there, it works everywhere, right? And where if I buy this, I want to know that when I look at it or view it in multiple different viewers, that it'll work, right?
Yes.
And so right now, people are just playing with the tools that's and kind of seeing what's possible and pushing the limits, right? And
Hmm.
it's exciting. Like I said, this last 6 months or so have just been unreal with the things and that people have been putting out there and pushing the limits of, you know.
Absolutely. I think that at the when we held the Cardano Summit, which is right behind me,
Mhm.
and that was around just a few weeks ago.
Right.
At that time, we just crossed the 1 million mark for the number of assets that are created on Cardano, and currently we are close to 1.4 million native assets that have been issued on the Cardano blockchain. So if that trend were to continue, we're seeing a rapid growth in economic activity related to NFTs.
Right.
Uh, Actually, around 67% of on-chain activity today is 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 with NFTs,
Mhm.
and that percentage is going to go down in in terms of when we have DeFi applications being ran, but the total number of assets should only be able to increase due to the fact that you can have this full customization of the type of asset which you want to create that is easily accessible and it's easily understood by your audience for what your asset is.
Well, I mean, what's crazy is like even today, just before we sat down for this interview, uh, I needed to send some money to a friend for a project that they were working on for me. And I went to my online bank account. Because they're not in blockchain, unfortunately. And so I went to go send them some money via Zelly, which is a great app. It's instant,
Mm-hmm.
but the bank was like, "Oh, you've hit your 5,000 limit or $4,000 limit for the month, and you have to wait another 10 days before you can send any more money out of this account, right? Via Zelly, and it's just it's frustrating because uh, I'm so used to being able to just send assets instantly online via the blockchain, right? Like if I need to send something, I just send it. There's nobody saying, "Well, you've sent so many NFTs this month, you can't send any more," right? Like,
Right.
it's mine. It's my money. It's my account. I should be able to send more. And I get it. They're trying to prevent certain amount of fraud. If somebody it's like limits and using the fraud as an excuse to provide those limits, right? Like
Yeah.
I get it, but it feels limited. I feel
Yeah.
doesn't feel
So
right.
I think that if we, correlate that into digital assets, it's also supportive infrastructure and how with the open source nature is that you have the best and brightest minds that if you see a problem, you can solve that problem.
Mhm.
So within the Cardano space today, we have several minting tools for NFTs. We have a number of different metadata standards which have been developed by the community. We
Mhm.
have community-based wallets, which in many ways today are functioning much better than official wallets to hold
Yeah, I
NFTs.
wasn't going to name any names like on the official ones, but yeah, like NFTs kind of broke that in a sense. And I always have to tell people that are like, I'm trying to get my NFTs, but I can't get them out of a certain wallet, And I'm like, well, try CC Wallet, which was created by Martin, and he
Mhm.
created that because there was a need, for a wallet that was able to handle the amount of NFTs in some of these collections, right? Like
Right.
it's insane, and it's great. They even added features like one of the best features that CC Wallet added that I wish every wallet had was to add a simple memo line to a transaction. So when you send funds or send a ADA or a token, first it asks you to put in the receive address, right? And then it says, "Do you want to add a memo?" And then you put in the amount of ADA and or tokens that you want to send. And then next time when I look at the transaction on chain through like Cardano scan or something, it tells me, oh yeah, this was for payroll for this. Oh, this was to buy or trade this asset, or I sent this address to that wallet. And it's all right there on the chain. And I don't have to like remember what was it that I did with this transaction? And it's just such a simple feature that you think every wallet would have it, right?
You would think so, but I think what's good here is to show that the official wallets are pointed for different applications.
Right.
So let's take an exchange wallet, right? That is for holding massive amounts of cryptocurrencies and a very large number of transactions. I would actually say that some of these wallets for NFTs should, you would think they are galleries instead of a wallet for how they display all the NFTs and
Right.
display the images that's attached inside the metadata. And and that is another innovation which is showing the power of the crowd and the power of the community when it comes together to develop different applications.
And and it's not any kind of knock on official stuff or anything. It's just I
Mhm.
think what it is, like you were talking about, it's like the power of the community. Like when you're in a corporate situation, for example, right? And you do something, you have to get 10 people to sign off on it. Like we've hired programmers that worked at like from different places, and they would have to go through 10 people just to change a font or change a color. Or I mean, I remember when I worked at Circuit City back in the day, and I would just want to move a DVD from one TV to another because it looked better on this TV and it showed off that I was selling TVs at the time. It would display that TV better. And then my manager would yell at me and say, hey, look, corporate said that this DVD goes in this DVD player. This DVD player goes on that TV, and it has to be that way. I'm like, well, it doesn't work. It's not right. But corporate said, and so it had to be that way, right? And so I get it.
Right.
Like some of these bigger, more official things, they have to go through all of these checks, all these procedures, all of these things, where somebody in the community can just create something because they don't have anybody to answer to. They don't have, and if they screw up, there's no giant corporation liable, right? You know, it's on them, and so they have a little bit more freedom, you know.
Yeah, I think there's 2 points to also remember on that is that no one owns Cardano. It's an open source economy, and we have resources dedicated for specific problems that are not so much commercially focused at this time. And what else that I enjoy seeing being developed right now by the community, in addition to wallets, is distribution tools. So the ability today that you could launch and complete a NFT sale of 10,000 NFTs can be done in less than a day. Well, that's amazing to me.
Wait till we blow things up early in November, because we've gone crazy with this legacy pass. We're going to have almost 20 airdrops going to 2,500 NFTs. So it's going to be like something like 16 to 18 NFTs, but each going to 2,500 wallets, all in a transaction.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Right. And again, we're going to be getting help from Andrew Westberg. We're going to use Firehose technology, kind of, and do all of this and send it all and try to send it all in one transaction to 2,500 different wallets simultaneously, if we can.
Wow.
We're pushing the limits, and that's the other great thing about the community is we can push these limits and see what the stuff early and see what can be improved, what it can do, and it showcase it in a way that I think in the power of the system, right? I think the wisdom of the crowd and power of the system,
and Cardano was built to be used, and all feedback as well that we get is being returned back to official wallets such as Daedalus and Yoroi to continue to improve the overall quality and usability of our wallets. But I am also very pleased with wallets like CC Wallet and others that I personally use and have great user experiences with them. And beyond distribution and beyond wallets, we also have a high number of APIs. We have marketplaces and visual explorers, which I believe in total is adding. I think accessibility is a unspoken utility to assets, and the ability to easily increase the social community around assets on Cardano is something to be appreciated.
Yeah, and like I said, the main point of the cNFTcon to me is all about celebration, right? We didn't ask anybody to do a cNFTcon. We just did it, right? And again, it goes back to that Wild West. Like if you see an issue or a need or something or a niche, you create it. And we wanted to make it a celebration because everybody's been working so hard through this last year and putting out so much work and it's been fun, and the community has been engaging and sharing. Everybody shares ideas. They work together. They see problems. They don't point finger. Like it's what I mean.
That's right.
Yeah. It's just the community is so amazing, and we're like, we need something that celebrates that. right? Where we'll be able to come together each year, and that's where we also started the Golden Buffy Awards, like the Buffies.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing the cNFT Person of the Year award this year. We're only going to have one award because there wasn't a lot of time to put together like committees and different categories. So we're only going to have one Golden Buffy issued this year, and that's
Wow.
the cNFT Person of the Year. And
How do you vote for this?
Well, it's just going to be me. I picked this person ahead of time.
Okay.
And they don't know about it. They, and can't wait to announce it during the con and have a nice celebration. But I felt that this person's work in the space was something that connects us all in a way.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we are the architects of the future.
right.
And I often say, when I am speaking to a publisher or when I am speaking to an enterprise about, blockchain applications, many of the times people tend to think that in 2021, this is it. This is what you can do with a blockchain. And I often have to remind people that that's not the case, and that we are in a transition of a paradigm shift into what is possible to do with NFTs, and what this means for not only digital economies but mainstream applications as well.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience, man. I felt like I was in a coma the last 10 years of my life before I came to Cardano, because I have a problem where I come up with a lot of ideas, as you can see from a lot of the Buffy stuff out there that we do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the stuff that we work in. I come up with a lot of ideas, but I always hit this roadblock. Okay, the tech isn't there. The cost to do it isn't there. Like, I don't have the funds to take that on, right? Like, it always gets to be a point where I have to put that idea to the side, right? Mm-hmm. And what Cardano has allowed me to do is take these crazy ideas and implement them, right? Like, and again, because of the community, there's somebody that I know in almost every single aspect that, oh, this idea is perfect for this person. Oh, this idea is perfect for that person. And we get together and we start doing that, right? Like Adam Dean and me and him started Buffy bot together, right? And we created Spokra with some other people, and we needed a voting system, so we created our own the first on-chain voting system, right? That eventually got Catalyst funding, and working on that, and we're going to turn that into even like voting for homeowners associations so they can vote. You know what I mean? But the thing is once I start going down a rabbit hole, right? All the things that start becoming possible start going up. Oh, now this is possible. Now that is possible. And that pathway of innovation is like a giant light bulb. And I finally feel like I've woken up. And this with the tools that Cardano has given us.
Definitely. And the applications for NFTs goes beyond, art-based assets. If I could, can I give you some breaking news?
Sure. That's what we're here for.
Well, we at the Cardano Foundation have partnered with Token.io as a marketplace, mm-hmm. to assist the Renaissance Awards, which is a mainstream award show, which is supporting, young leaders for environmental and social justice matters. Mm-hmm. Their award show, the actual awards are Cardano-based NFTs.
Oh, nice.
That's right. And that award show is happening right now. So they
beat us by a day.
I don't know the exact date. I know it's happening, now, but the information is available online. Okay. But just to show the power of NFTs, it's great that it's awards. You can have tickets. You can have data points. You can have physical items. So, like with Veritree, which is the Global Impact Challenge for the Cardano ecosystem. The NFTs that will be created here will be related to, certificates of land restoration for trees that are being planted. So all of the actual data of the trees will be being stored inside the NFT. And those are be minted on Cardano as well.
Nice. Yeah, we did the Golden Buffy with the help of Aeon Sky. I hope I'm saying that right. It was going to be a minted NFT that we're going to give to him or to them, the winner of the this year. So
that's great.
So it's like I was like, so if they got theirs out just before us. So that's incredible. Like I said, like you said, like tickets, passes, like what we do with CFT. Like the sky's the limit with what you can do. You're just limited by your imagination. The tools are there.
The tools are here, and they're only getting better. That's right. So with Project Catalyst and the on-chain treasury of Cardano, we have this ecosystem fund which can continue to support architects. And maybe next year you're going to have 10 Golden Buffy awards.
We're going to have it. We've already started putting feelers out to the community on what kind of awards they want to do. And we're going to put together a whole committee. And it's going to be a annual thing, like best artwork, best innovative NFT. Like it's not just going to be artwork or anything like that. It'll be full on, all kinds of NFT awards. And so we're excited. And again, I want the Buffies to be up there with the Oscars and the Golden Globes. So we'll get there.
Great. Yeah, I did have a question for you as one of the builders, and I wanted to know from your perspective, what is it that excites you the most about Cardano for NFTs?
Well, for about NFTs, again, it's just the possibilities. Like I was saying earlier, like the way my mind works, I come up with these ideas and 5% of it's okay, but eventually I'll hit 100% together. And then I can use the tools that were given and put it together, and do things that were just not possible before. Right. Like that. And it has value. Like, I mean, sure, before I could have created an award show, put up a statue, done that. But the idea of doing it as an NFT and having it, the artwork done by one of the best names in the space and putting all that together, it's more tangible. It's something, more, to me, real, and it can be out there to the whole community. Right. Before, like, that wasn't possible, like, in my mind, to just be able to create something like that. Or, there's life-changing stuff going on right now in Cardano, in the community space. People are, whose lives have been changed, instantly, these last 6 months. And to me, that has been, life-changing in itself. And so I'm excited. I've never been so excited to work on things and see all these ideas come to fruition. I mean, if I told, convention people, I've been in the convention business for 20 years. And if I told them what we've pulled off in this last couple of weeks, their heads would be spinning right now. And what we got planned for next year, with the partnerships and live music, the event, the show floor, turning the tickets for the shows be unique NFTs, to maybe even making the hotel room bookings NFTs. You know what I mean? Like we're going to be testing some crazy technology next year at the live show, and just again, the possibilities is what excites me the most.
Absolutely. I'd have to agree. I think for myself personally, one of the things that I prided myself on for a very long time was knowing almost 95% of the entire Cardano ecosystem. But again, that was around 16 months ago.
Right.
And to see every single day continuous growth, expansions, development, and new people coming into the ecosystem, you realize that this is more than just a technology. This is a social operating system, and it's a beautiful thing to be a part of, and to be a small cog in a giant wheel that keeps turning and keeps growing and keeps delivering new solutions.
Yeah, like I said, it's. I remember when the NFTs first started coming out with the native tokens, um, and Space Buds came out, and I started the NFT update show. That month was insane. I was doing a live show every other day on YouTube, interviewing somebody else in the space, and to see where those projects went from then to now. Like, people ask, like, why did you guys create the NFT update promo cards, right? Well, that's a living history of the last 6 months. You can go back. We have over 45 or 46 promos out already on season 3 of the show. And each one of those, I can go back and it pinpoints a time in history of the NFTs in Cardano, right? That's what makes them valuable. They're a representation of our history. And, so yeah, I forget where I was going with that, but like I said, it's just exciting stuff. And like you said, to be part of that and to see the growth, it's a ride.
That's right. I mean, we just continue when we're making plans for 2025 Cardano. That's really the interesting thing for me, is that so much in the NFT community today on Cardano has been done without smart contracts. Only until 1 week ago did we create a marketplace with smart contracts, with the Space Buds marketplace. And as more tooling becomes available, as more options to launch NFT campaigns becomes available, and more people start figuring out how to get inroads on different types of digital assets that are NFTs. It's really interesting to see just how far adoption will come in only a few years' time.
Oh yeah, we're so early. People do not understand how early we are right now, and it's only going to get so much bigger. And I've designed a lot of the strategies behind Buffy Bot Publishing, a lot like Charles did with IOHK and Cardano, right? Like building almost sideways, so that way when things start to trigger, everything kind of rises together, right? And I feel like once Prism is implemented, the growth that we've seen before now will be nothing compared to that. Almost every single idea and almost every single thing that we're doing can only be enhanced tenfold by Prism. And that is the missing key. And if people could just understand, what that will give not only Cardano, but the world in itself, is mind-blowing. And I can see it because, like I said, I'm working with developers. I'm working with people developing dApps and solving problems, and every single one of them, right, will benefit from Prism tenfold, hundredfold.
That's right. We have Prism, we have Hydra, we have cross-chain interoperability coming, we have more side chains on the way, and we have a lot more mobile wallets coming. We have light wallets coming. We have greater enhancements into full wallets, increased usability of explorers. The entire ecosystem is building sideways, and it's also building, vertically.
Well, I call it the Voltron method, right?
Okay.
You built out the left leg, you build the right leg, you build the right arm, the left arm, the body, and the head. And then once they're all built, right, it comes together and forms the whole, right? And that's the way I see Cardano. Like right now, we're building all of these limbs in the body. You know, we started with the body, and now we build the leg, this, that. And when it all comes together, it's just this giant, you know, thing that people can play with and enjoy it. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it.
Yeah, it's a living technology.
Yep. And so, well, I think we're about we've hit our time, and it's been an amazing conversation. We're definitely gonna have to do this again. And here's to next year. And I want to thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be at the first ever annual cNFTcon. So thank you, Marco, and thank you to your team and everyone watching around the world.
All right. Take care, everybody. I always have to wave with this hand. I always forget.